Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'll be continuing my series on discussing the three fundamentals of golf. In particular, I'll be focusing on the second fundamental, which is a player's ability to produce sufficient power and distance in order to play a golf course effectively, something that the very best players in the world are very good at doing equally well. I will discuss the various components which contribute to producing length and focus on one particular component, which is the path of your hands, which will help you optimize your length and also give you a drill which you can take to the driving range in order to apply this. So as I already talked about in my last video, historically fundamentals of golf have always been looked at as being static considerations such as grip, aim, stance, posture. However, under the stack and tilt system, the three fundamentals are defined as considerations which are dynamic. So the first fundamental would be a player's ability to control his or her lowest point. The second consideration, or the second fundamental, would be a player's ability to produce distance and power. And the third fundamental would be a player's ability to control the curve and direction of his ball flight. Today we'll be talking about the second fundamental, which is a player's ability to produce distance and power, which is sufficient in order to play a golf course effectively, which is something that all the good players and elite players do very, very well. So what are the considerations which contribute to a player being able to produce maximum power? There are three things that I would consider as being important. So the first one would be, and something that I have talked about in a previous video, so if you just check out this link up here, if you want to look into detail what I talked about there, it's about your body being able to, or carrying out the flexing and extending of the spine at the right rates and at the right times. So what we would see amateurs do on a daily basis is that they will, in their backswing, that they will stay in forward bend and then maintain this forward bend throughout their swing, thereby lose a lot of stored energy which could be otherwise released. So if you just look at this video, this particular player, a perfect example of this player staying in forward bend throughout his entire swing. You can also see here that his head is moving significantly from right to left. So in addition to losing power, this player also would have or demonstrate low point control issues. Instead, what should happen is that at setup, your forward bend would be at approximately 40 degrees. Then as you move into your backswing, your spine will extend or backward bend to about 0 degrees. Then in your downswing at approximately P5.5, your body would, or your spine would, reach its original position. And then moving through impact into your follow through, your spine would extend again and you would get into backward bend into your finished position. So that would be your spine moving forwards and backwards, and thereby releasing a significant amount of power. The second consideration in a player's ability to produce power is something that I will talk about in a future video. It's about your power accumulators. So your ability to load and unload your swing using your wrists and your arms in an efficient manner. So your first power accumulator would be your right arm bending in your backswing in the right amount and then straightening through impact and into your follow through. So it's basically this particular motion throughout your swing. Your second power accumulator would be your wrists cocking and uncocking. So basically this particular motion that we're more accustomed to right here. And your third power accumulator would be your arms rotating in your backswing and rotating in the other direction in your downswing. And your fourth power accumulator would be your left arm moving closer to your chest in your backswing and then being pushed off your chest in your downswing and into your follow through. So 4 ways of loading and unloading your arms, wrists, forearms in your backswing, and then in your downswing and follow through in order to produce maximum power and distance. Now, the third contributing factor to a player's ability to maximize his power and speed is his understanding that when carrying out the golf swing, his hands and his club head should be moving inwards and around his body on a circular arc, which is the best way of maximizing and releasing power, stored energy. So a good comparison to this would be a football player. So historically, the football players would kick a ball on a straight line, and very soon they realized that in order to increase the distance that they could kick the ball, what they would have to do is kick the ball at an angle, so in a tilted fashion. Now, the same principle applies to the golf swing. So if we were to pick up the club in a straighter version, so our hands would be traveling up the target line and straight down the target line, certainly that would result in less speed and the release of less energy which is stored than if we brought our hands more inwards and around, keeping the hands and the club head on an arc and swinging on a tilted angle. Now, the same would also apply in our downswing. So in our backswing, we're moving our hands inwards and the club head. And in our downswing, we'd repeat or mirror that concept, bringing our hands around our spine into our finished position. Okay, I'm going to carry out a swing now, moving my hands up and down the target line, and then we'll compare that to a swing where I try to bring my hands a little bit more inwards and just see what the differences are and what the checkpoints are that you can look out for. Okay, so why don't we have a look at these two swings and just discuss very briefly what two-dimensional differences we see here. On the left-hand side, we have the swing where I'm trying to move my hands up and down the target line. So if this is the target line, here would be a parallel line. You can see that my hands are actually moving to the right, pretty much straight up. Now, if you look at the right picture, you'll see here that my hands are actually moving inwards and up, and my club head as well. They're moving in, club head in, hands in. Checkpoints would be when the club is parallel to the ground, that my hands will be moving through my belt buckle. Then as we progress, my hands will move through the middle of my bicep. And at the top of my backswing, the butt end of the club would be approximately 3 to 5 inches behind my trail shoulder. And my left arm would be parallel or slightly steeper than my shoulder plane. Now on the left hand side, we can see that my hands move up onto the elbow plane pretty much immediately in a straight line back. Club is on an outward path. You can see my hands are not moving through my bicep. And also at the top of my backswing, the butt end of the club is even in front of my trail shoulder. And the result of this is that on the left, for the left swing, my hands come pretty much straight down again, and the club is traveling on an out to in path, pretty steep down onto the ball. And in the right picture, because my hands are traveling around my spine in a circle, that's how I deliver the club back to the ball on a slight in to out path around my spine in a circle. A more efficient and more powerful way of swinging the club. So what is the best way to practice this? There's one drill that I really like, and I would encourage you to try out, which is getting your hands to move inwards by focusing on your left arm. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to stand upright. I'd like you to position your arm in front, your left arm, your lead arm in front of you, and I'd like you to turn towards your trail side and bring that lead arm across your chest. Okay, across your chest in this fashion. Now, if I bend forwards, take my address position, and just simulate the same motion, bring that arm across my chest, you'll see that my hand is moving, I'll just say automatically, moving inwards on an inwards path around my spine. Now, if I grab my club and I just try to simulate this feel, I'll immediately get my hand moving more inwards, getting that left lead arm across my chest. Okay, so it's standing upright. Just simulate this feel, then bring that down into your setup position, arm across your chest, then grab a club and try it with the club in your hands. Okay, so why don't we apply this drill very quickly. So it's arm across my chest. Let's just simulate that. There we go, arm across my chest. Let's just hit a ball here. Okay. Okay, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you found it interesting and informative. If you did, I would appreciate it if you gave me the thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel as I look to upload more videos in the near future. Thanks a lot and bye from Singapore.